All right, yeah, my microphone works. Yeah, the whole spiel at the start didn't function. But we're gonna keep on going. Guys, the question that was answered is, which RPG are you going to eliminate from existence? But if you do it, the most fervent fans are going to try to hunt you down. All right, and the rest of the start, nobody needs to know. We're just gonna keep it in. I can't be bothered to do it second take. We can't fake this.
That's right.
Exactly. 4D, persistent world. No takesies backsies.
Exactly.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't do that, but it would be funny. It would be funny. It's just a lot of D&D games. There's not any roleplay going on in there.
So you're pulling back
space for the rest of us.
If you pull back your answer, you have to delete another RPG then, you know?
Okay. I don't know, Pathfinder.
I think that is a problem you can solve with closing the laptop for sure. Nobody's coming after you.
Flame Zombie might. Flame Zombie, he goes outside, and he's got weapons.
You have to win a duel, actually. That's true.
Yeah,
He might just bring a gun.
He might.
Well, remember, elf hunters in America.
Yeah. Guys, I got another person telling me, Z, your audio's still muted. I'm not seeing the YouTube comments, so this is they're telling me through Discord.
Oh.
I see what's happening here. Oh god. Yes. Okay. Everybody should be able to hear me now, right, guys? Gotta give this a second. So the whole thing, I got studio mode, so I need to transition when I make a change. So that once I take down the audio, now they should be able to hear me. That was the problem. Good now. Pathfinder would be gone. Mike's now hot. Yeah, this is an embarrassing start for everything, guys. So let's just move on like nothing happened. What RPG would you guys delete, and that you think you can take the fans head on?
I'm going to take the bullet for this. I'm going to choose Fatal because I'm doing everybody a favor, but the one fan that is a fervent fan of Fatal is going to ruin me. I don't know who that freak is, but I'm out if he exists.
I think it would really help the health of the role-playing game discussion scene.
So people can stop bringing it up. I agree.
Yes, people can stop bringing it up all the time. Oh, you mean that one sick role-playing game where you roll for Areola or something? Like, I don't know. What does that have to do with anything? Why do those rules exist? I don't...
You scroll Reddit long enough, you find out why those rules exist.
I have not read it. I'm good.
I want to remove that information from my brain.
Yeah.
You would do me a favor with that, Dom.
You're welcome.
All right, Ark.
So, I would remove Apocalypse World, and therefore all of its derivatives, including Blades in the Dark.
All of them. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of
storytelling games.
I can see a lot of interpretive dancers coming after you.
I can imagine a lot of people coming after me, but hopefully,
especially from universities.
Yes, hopefully they'd be blinded by the light of the Arch game and all be instantly converted.
Instant conversion is a bold strategy, Arch. We will see how that turns out.
Look, I'm shooting high. Everyone who's heard me talk knows that I'm aiming for the clouds. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's I think that's all fine and good. Okay, we got our answers. Pathfinder,
the ice has been broken and we all drown.
Yeah. The apocalypse removed, doesn't exist anymore, and no more Fatal. Fantastic. We got people in chat. My Ear Trumpet, hello. Tiger Uppercut is here. Chief Funk Rescue, Space Roadie, Grognard. Fantastic. Okay, gonna ignore chat for now. Let's go into the topics. I wanted to have some topics, but I've kind of run out of steam to organize them. So it's like bring your topic day today, and we are going to start off with Elf Hunter, and hopefully we can really really work with you here and bounce ideas back and forth. What you got?
Yeah. All right. So first of all, hopefully I can stay for the whole stream. We'll see. I'm thankful to be here for any amount of time. I just want to show some clips of games that I've been in, either GMing or playing. First one is the Nutshell RPG demonstration game that I just did the other day. But anyway, what I want to do here is talk about things that make a session better other than just being in character. Because a lot of us 4D guys, we do that. That's our baseline, but let's see what we can do beyond that. And a lot of this will be critiquing myself and things that I didn't do so well, but we'll see here. So we can go ahead and play that first clip, please.
All right. I got it pulled up. Chat, can you confirm that you can see it? It looks to be working on my end. Oh, I need to turn on the audio for people to hear. Perfect. I actually caught that one. Yes. There we go. So, and on the Discord, please tell me if you can hear it. I'm starting it now.
Are trespassers on the king's land.
All right.
We have them dead to rights. I place a hand on the center pistol that's secured in the brace that I wear across my chest.
I cannot see or hear anything.
Oh, no.
All right. So it should be open in the Discord as a stream.
Oh, I see. I had to click on it. My bad.
Yes. And if you right click on it, maybe you have it muted. You can double check if the audio is active. All right.
The valley between the mountains opens up wider. There is a river in the distance coming into view. The man with the red beard raises his axe up and says, "When the king appointed me."
Yeah.
So already what I'm noticing is I'm just so slow. I'm thinking, and again, I think if you're just getting into playing in character for the first time, that's normal. But for me, I didn't like that about my game. And I think part of it is I had my notes of what I'm going to do for the session, but it was very simple. These guys, they're the king's men. They're going to go over to the enemy and they're going to kill them. That's essentially what happened. So filling in things, I was coming up with that on the spot, and it was just kind of low resolution and kind of slow. So I think some things that can help with that is prepping a bit more and practicing improv as well. UNPC games are great for that.
And
Heresy, Elf Hunter.
Zonalar would often talk about mindscaping, practicing the description of a picture, so that you're more comfortable with that, syntax while you're flowing,
Yeah.
Yeah, mindscaping is difficult if you play many different genres, like if you switch between modern setting to cyberpunk to Star Wars to fantasy, because they're not all interchangeable. You want to describe a tavern differently to a cafeteria or the cantina. but while you describe, you don't want to take up all the oxygen in the room. Like take a minute to describe the immediate surroundings and then stop, let the players interact with it or traverse it. I think of the Lord of the Rings scenes with the helicopter shots where they run over the mountains. But they give Gimli a turn to be like, the dwarves weren't built for runs. We are more like sprinters, as he's out of breath chasing after the other player characters.
Let's check out the second clip, still from this game.
What, we to continue or go to the other one that you
We
prepared?
can just go to the other one, 8:30.
All right.
It's the same video, but 8 minutes, 30 seconds.
Let's go.
10.
There, chewing on a bone as it waits behind the rocks, seeming unaware of you, looking toward the rest of the party.
I axe it.
Okay, that's
I
good.
swipe at it with my 2 hands.
Okay. So
I X it. The adjective is beautiful. I X. Okay.
I thought he said I exit. I'm out of there.
So
that was
so,
funny, but I'm just critiquing myself in this one. These Mike and Bacon were great, but I felt like, yes, I showed a picture, so I don't have to describe as much. But I felt like my description sucked. You know, I'm not giving them enough to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever have those moments?
Yeah, absolutely. Over description and then total lack. Yeah.
Right, it's a balancing act, I guess.
I think that an interesting consideration that, you know, this genre thing, you know, if you're going to overly describe something, just put a picture up. That, to me, kind of gives you impetus to describe other things. So we don't want to, like, go down the list of describing all 5 senses every single time, but you got the picture, describe smell, describe what it sounds like as it moves, or even, like, how it moves. You know, like, you have the picture, but how is it moving? That becomes more evocative now that you have the base portrait in front of you.
Absolutely. I think a lot of that comes with practice, and then a lot of it, man, like we don't want to over prep, right? But, and, you know, coming up with descriptions in the moment is part of the game. I'm not saying to prep descriptions.
it's very much if you know what monster you're using for your game, you can go over, okay, how do I describe a goblin? Small hunched creature, the head is half its size, grisly teeth, sharpens to a point, arranging the mouth like a seesaw. Would be one way to go about it.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between prepping a description and practicing a description. On the one hand, you're saying this is exactly what I'm going to say. On the other, you're just more familiar with it. I promote a lot of practice of session, you know, etc. Not prep hard in stone, but just practice. That allows you to have that automaticity and that improvisation.
Find playing through, like, memorizing game systems and playing game systems, getting that to automaticity easier than improv and describing sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I find that more of a challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
But you can practice both, and that's another thing for like Mythras, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Adept Austin and I have had multiple sessions where we take a break from the campaign, and it's a practice session.
Yeah.
Particularly with combat, it's not so, you know, it's got this crunchy reputation. It's not so hard that it necessitates practice sessions to learn the system, but we have those because we're trying to figure out how we want to integrate our in-character role play with the system. And there's a lot of experimentation of, okay, when will I say this and when will I roll? We even, like, drew out a diagram. And it sounds like a lot to have, like, 3 steps or whatever, but then you get the automaticity and you're like, oh, okay, this is not complicated.
What makes the Mythras system easy to like play through for the play part of the rolling of the dice and how the mechanics work. Because the more rules heavy stuff that I've played is the Dark Eye, the German role-playing game, and Shadowrun 5th edition, which is famously has, okay, you shoot your gun, the enemy tries to dodge the bullets, and then it absorbs what penetrates with its armor, and then it builds off with the constitution. And maybe while you're shooting your gun, you're also using some weird ability that changes your initiative tracker, that puts you on a different level while everybody else reacts. And all of that is very difficult to keep track of, besides the player being like, oh wait, does Wi-Fi count? Do I get a +1 bonus die?
Yeah, that it doesn't sound fun to me. But to answer your question, I'd say there's two things. One is the D100 roll. Whenever you want to do something, your skill, say your combat skill, if it's 75, I need to roll my D100, get 75 or under to do it. I don't have to do a back and forth with the GM of, I got 15. Is that work? Yes, that's a success. Okay. Like a back forth. Oh, what was his armor class? I just roll, and I know the result right away. Yeah. The other thing was, I would say the rules are diegetic, meaning it's not like other games. You have classes, levels, you have abilities that somewhat make sense in the world, but it's like, wait, what does that look like actually happening in the game world?
How do the characters in the world actually talk about it?
Yeah. It's using more common language. There's less abstractions built upon by board games and war games, like armor class. Like you have to jump through mental hoops to get to that point.
The armor class is a big one. So name a couple diegetic things that Mythras does differently to other role-playing games that are like less diegetic.
I got one when you're done.
So the probably the most famous thing is the special effects. If whatever the name of the effect is, that's what it does. Trip opponent. I trip the guy.
Oh,
he falls down. That means that he's down, and it'll be harder for him to fight against someone who's standing up. He'll have to take an action to stand back up, and all of that's actually intuitive. Now, when you're playing, you probably want to have a cheat sheet of what each special effect does, or just start out with like 3 and add 1 for every session. But they're all pretty, they're natural language, bypass armor. That means I get through the guy's armor and find a weak spot. And so I don't have to take that penalty to my damage. I just do the full damage. Choose location, head. That means I'm able to hit him in the head.
Right. I'm already thinking of D&D, where I cast Hunter's Mark. All right, your hunter, you marked him. What does it give you? Oh, you do more damage. Wait, really? I thought I track him better. Yeah, that also happens. Marked him, but not forever. Only for a few hours because it's a spell. Wait, really? Also, you can see him. You know exactly where he went, even if he's out of sight. That's how it works. Like some X-ray vision. And you have to reframe it in your mind constantly. Be like, wait, how do I make this work for my hunter? Is it spiritual? Is it like nature's magic? Or am I using like, I don't know, a smell, like a marking with a smell that I can follow?
It doesn't give you enough to work on.
Yeah,
and
you have to solve it.
It's a good point. It's a good point that that diegesis makes something intuitive, and that reduces the mental load on people, because you can have a really complex feature, but if you just use the right terms that are diegetic, then it can be the same level of complexity, but if you intuitively understand it, you don't even have to learn automaticity. It's just already there, because intuition is our innate automaticity. If you can tap into that, you can make a really complex system easy to play.
And you don't have to include a bunch of keywords either.
Yes.
Like you said, natural language.
And tags and all that.
The thing that gets me upset and up in arms about the D&D isms with the Hunter's Mark is that it cares so little about the diegesis or the roleplay of it all, because there is nothing. Like it's not only that there is nothing, it also implies setting. So it's implying a setting that the D&D brains are like bound to, right? Like, oh, don't go beyond the pale of the canon, right? The official content. But also, this isn't, like you said, it's not giving you anything. So you're stuck to an official word, but also there isn't enough word. You know what I mean? So like you're abiding by a setting that you don't have any idea of. You play like a ranger in this case.
That brings me to another point about Mythras. I like the character creation. There's no wait, where did I get this spell from? You know, it brings you through each part of your life. Not like a life path where you have like 5 different careers or something, but like you start with your background, your culture.
It's incredibly important in that game. It's not like the backgrounds in 5e. It's not like the backgrounds in any game. It's very unique to it and classic 80s RuneQuest or 70s even. It is your character's motivation, almost your background, because you came from somewhere.
Yep, you cannot go through character creation in Mythras, in good faith, without having a more rounded out character. Yep. You're gonna have your, like I said, career, culture, background, events. One of my favorites, family connections, because that changes. When I heard about RuneQuest having like based on family or clan or whatever, that's what attracted me to it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, family just changed everything for my character in my Mythras campaign with Adept. Mm-hmm. We could show that clip actually. It's the next clip.
Sweet. Segue.
My character Lucius is going to have a talk with his wife because the queen is going to send him on a mission, and he's talking about it.
I'm trying to see the clip. Where is it? Did it happen? Where did it happen?
It's 23:21.
Okay. I don't know where I put.
And this is an older video, so you get to see my up my nose.
Fantastic. The good camera angle with the most flattering position where we can count how many chins people have.
Exactly. And again, this is like 10 months old, so I'm not. There is that slower talking and pauses in the middle of sentences, but for an older video like that, I'm fine with it.
Your guest looks traumatized.
Who beats him up? What's happening?
Sometimes I wonder what he's thinking. He's probably wondering what I'm thinking.
Okay, let's see. This is session 1 of your 40 Mythras. So this is the first time you tried to roleplay, like 40 roleplay Mythras?
Yeah, I think before we had been slowly integrating it, but this is probably the first time we really did it. Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Your greeting as well. I say it's been a long day. Should get ready for bed. I'll be heading out in the morning.
She looks at you. Well, aren't you going to tell me what happened?
Oh, sure. Let me lie down first. I lie down. I say, listen. There's one more enemy of Mythras that hasn't been taken care of. As you know, the earthquake that happened around a month ago was brought down by my Cirrus. But it was because of the pleading of Kara.
Your wife
You see-
gasps.
That's enough.
On a pause
It
here?
goes on. Yeah, it goes on for a bit more, but we'll just keep things going. But yes, so he's explaining to his wife that a month ago there was an earthquake that was, they say their god Mythras caused this earthquake in the city, and so many people died. But he's like, really, it only happened because Kara prayed for this, and she's an ally of ours, and we.
What
I
does
don't
it
wanna
mean?
Overcomplicate it.
Right? Like, even the way you presented this information in the clip, and I totally chalk this up as you're trying to incorporate all of those elements to get to describe things in character for the NPC. So that's the husband talking. Did I understand that right?
Yeah.
Or like, let me lie down. He lies down. And then you continue talking. Feels very, very vague for me. When the character says, let me lie down, I think that's the moment where you take a sentence to he rests his body heavily on the frame
because
of the straw mattress.
You're applying some amount of weight. You're kind of almost prepping the action because you're saying this is. Just give me a fucking second, So
This is big. It's you want to really prime the moment of what is this information he's going to reveal. So if you go from let me lie down, it felt like you just wanted to do the act. I lie down, without thinking about, oh no, I can use this to describe how heavy it is on him, not for the world, but on him, on his mind.
Exactly. I remember back then thinking this is one of my favorite scenes because the character Lucius it reminded me of one of those military shows where the soldier goes home to his wife and he's like, look, babe, I can't stick around. I got to go on a mission, And she's like, no, don't go,
Yeah, I can see that.
And I, saw the scene in my mind and everything, and it felt heavy because I was charged by the queen to go after an ally of ours. And it's true that she did cause harm to the city, but we also understand why she did it without going into that too much.
Right.
And she's like a friend of mine that, became close with her over the past month. So it was a heavy scene. I just enjoy that scene.
Being familiar, that's kind of the big poo-poo on D&D, right? Where it's like those characters aren't people. You can understand they're not. They're psychopaths, and that's cool. That they're psychopaths who are out in the wilderness going on random adventures. Right?
The player characters in D&D.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
gotcha.
Whereas if you have something boring and grounded, like a person fucking saying goodbye to their wife, that's a bit more tangible. You know what I mean? I can imagine that a bit better.
You don't have to see the human moments role played a lot in D&D. It's more gamey. It's just about, we're here to not even kill monsters anymore. It's not even an interesting part of the game. It's just all the most boring parts of the game. We're going to leave out the drama, and we're going to leave out the fun dungeon crawling, and we're just going to have the slop left over.
Yeah. There's also a problem with here you have a one-on-one table, so when you pause, you only need to worry about one player interrupting you. At a normal table, it's very difficult for people to sit on their mouth for a second as you try to give the scene the gravitas it deserves of, okay, it's heavy for this NPC, so it's going through the motion slowly and deliberately because he is looking for the words of how to relate this information to his wife. So that's why I think the tenets in the 4D role play of don't speak out of character is very important, because that's the moment where if I sit kind of nervously at a table, I might toss in a joke. I'm like, yeah, he lies down in bed, like, is she gonna join him? Tee giggle, and then people giggle at the table, and the whole scene like puffs up into smoke. Like, oh, there's no weight here anymore. The scene ruined, and they might not even notice. They're just trying to bring some levity into the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, like a normal D&D or any other slop RPG, you know, just spread the love, right?
Yes.
To spread the love to any other slop table. It kind of becomes like an issue. It's almost like you're watching a movie or like just experiencing a dramatic point in your life, and you have fucking Mr. Mixelplix from DC, the little like interdimensional imp, just like teasing in the middle of the fucking dramatic moments. Like, I can't have shit with you here, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people don't seem comfortable with any sort of tension. They want to cut the tension and escape it. But that's kind of the whole point of why we're playing dramatic role play, right? So we want the tension. We want to enjoy that. That's why we're here. But I don't think enough people actually talk about that beforehand, that, hey, we're going into the session. Don't cut the tension. When you feel the tension, that's good. Bask in it. Feel it. Lean into it. Don't cut the tension. And that's just not said enough. And people react by just cutting it and without even thinking about it.
It was a Tomb of Lime quote where he was like, the urge to do that is like the primordial RPG safety tool. Like the wanting to laugh and giggle and do that kind of stuff is because you do want to break the tension. You kind of want to X-card it a little bit to relieve yourself almost of that stress. But it's like, don't.
It's the same thing that go ahead, Zon.
It's difficult because if you played many different tables, you realize, oh wait, I need to tell them that I want them to take this seriously and try to keep chatter to a minimum and react to events in character because that preserves the tension. But I don't think I tell the last part enough to the players. It's more like through the role play of like trying to do the 4D role play, especially now that I'm doing more training sessions, they pick up on, all right, this felt more intense. Now that I cannot ask like 10 questions to the game master about my immediate surroundings, it feels more tense if I have to crawl through this underwater submarine to explore the different rooms, because they only reveal themselves as they go through the space.
Mm-hmm. I think a really good example that we see, I'm thinking about, I should have clipped it in hindsight, but maybe we can pull it up. It was the Kingmaker game of Shadow Dark, where they were in like that dungeon with all like the Nautilus zombie guys, and like they were like at the end where he was like going over like all the secrets, blah blah, like in this like stagnant pool of water. Oh, if you swim in it, there's some treasure on the other side. It's like I ain't doing that. It's like, oh well, fortune favors the bold. I won't die if I get in that stagnant water. And this, like, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that urge to cut tension is one of the things I cannot stand when watching a movie with someone else. Is that you get to the emotional part where you want to cry and you're in there, and the other person sitting next to you just cannot. Like, I don't know if it's a maturity thing or whatnot, but they just cannot bask in the tension of the movie that they sat down to watch, and they have to crack a joke. It's like, bro, do not sit and watch this movie with me if you cannot enjoy the movie. You know, please.
Has everybody seen the first Conan movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one scene at the beginning where Thulsa Doom is like staring at Conan's mother, and like his like stare like controls her? He's not like doing any magic necessarily, right?
I thought about
that
today. Maybe. And last week, the week before, yeah, very, very good scene.
When I watched it with my boys, my buddy was like, what's going on? Like he was like, what do you mean what's going on? Look at her. They're staring at her.
That's essentially roleplay. It's immersion. Is you buy into it and you say, all right, I'm going to treat this seriously. What if I was standing there with this conqueror killer with his hand on his blade, and I have my child next to me? Or like you can look at it from Conan's perspective, or even just an onlooker. You have to actually buy in. You can't just you can't be behind the fourth wall and just looking at it how comical it is. You have to break the fourth wall and enter into the fantasy to really be there.
You have to really suspend your disbelief. Remember that this is a magical world. This is a freak sorcerer. He's also very opulent. You know, he's got all the horses. He's rich. He might not even have any magic, and he's just that imposing that he fucking command this lady.
Yeah. his slow turnaround. Like looking back, I never thought it was goofy, but looking back on it, you could think, wow, that's super goofy, this super slow turn, what's he doing? And then he chops over her head and it just falls. The whole thing could be goofy if you look at it like that. But I never even crossed my mind until now how silly that could look, because I was bought in. You have to actually like the movie you're watching. You have to actually buy in. Same thing with tabletop. You have to actually like roleplay and like the tone and like the game you're playing. So many people playing D&D and just anything don't actually like RPGs. They don't actually like fantasy. They aren't actually here for it. They haven't bought in. They're just hanging out with friends, and they really could only care a smidgen less about the activity that they're actually engaged in. And it's not gatekeeping to say so. It's saying like, hey, if you're playing golf and you're just sitting on the golf cart twiddling on your phone all day, you don't actually like golf, right? I'm not gatekeeping. I'm just telling you, you are not a golf fan, right? That's kind of the same thing with tabletop.
Reaching right now, man.
Yeah,
I think
That's good. That's good.
I think it's a bit more deep seated too. Like it is like there is always those stigmas in RPGs, right? Like the idea of taking it seriously itself is so much harder because you have to do more work. Whereas so much of the movie is prepared, the soundtrack, the editing, the direction. There are so many things that are like kind of pushing on you to get immersed. Whereas you have to do so much more work in an RPG yourself. So I could definitely see the dichotomy.
In a way, there's a difference between, I like the golf example and the movie example, because in golf, like nobody is directing you how to play golf.
Yeah.
You do it yourself, and you probably do it with some business partner or something. So, I mean, that's another undertone, but usually you have a buddy that's like, he likes golf, you're trying to get into it. So when you do your swing, you're correcting your stance. You're trying to figure out, how do I swing the club? Do I need to take the wind into account? And you try it out and you give it your best shot. Like, I don't know of anyone that plays golf and just, like, what's it called? Just like swings and whiffs and it's like, oh, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
And just try again.
But that's what we have in D&D every day.
Yeah.
People that get there, they whiff, they don't actually play, and they're like, I had a good time. It's like, why are you here? I'm not being elitist when I tell you, why are you here?
Actually, that's much closer to mini golf in that sense, right? Because mini golf, you do go out with your friends, like, yeah, let's smash a couple beers and smash like this tiny little ball up the little hoops and go left and go right, and hopefully you can do it in one shot. But some people are taking 13 shots, and then in the end they just put the ball in, like, let's move on to the next course.
Yeah. But see, that's not taking it seriously. That's not sincerity. Yes. That is a party game. That's goofing off, right? If you want to do that, go ahead. But
yeah, it's a social gathering, right? It's a social gathering around mini golf.
But where are the serious people? I mean, besides this one server, like, it feels like, wouldn't it feel weird to look at golf and 90% of people were casual and treating it like mini golf? Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't you think there's something wrong there? Like, what's going on? That's kind of my thing with RPGs in general, is that you're like, where are the people who take it seriously? Sincerity seems to be dead in the modern age. No one sincerely engages with something and has the vulnerability to actually say, yes, I care about this and this matters to me and I'm going to try to do it well. That's either looked down upon as being elitist, or it's looked down upon as being try hard, or some other. There's always a name for it. Yeah. It used to be cool to be sincere, to want to excel in your craft and to do something well. And I feel like I'm born of the last generation. It's like, why isn't anyone sincere anymore?
There's a level why I like the movie analogy, because you have a director, and modern movies very much feel like it's on the director level, the uppermost level that sets the scene for everything, that wants to undercut everything with a joke or with a twist, or with the main character turns around to the sidekick and says, well, that just happened. And they look at the camera and smash their knees and laugh track starts. And you just think to yourself, well, this could have been impactful, but you undercut it yourself. Why should I respect your movie if you're not respecting your own scenes?
True. That's exactly what happens. It is a literal laugh track at the table, and no one seems to think it's a problem.
And it's the game master doing it, right? Like the director doing it for film is on the same level as the game master undercutting his scenes by asking the player characters, what do you want to do for your action economy? It's like, don't You were describing a beautiful scene. Don't cut it wide open by ripping the panel off and looking at the mechanics underneath. I don't need to know them right now. Right now, I'm trying to imagine how heavy it is for the soldier sitting down on the bed, trying to break to his wife that, we are in big trouble. I think I gotta do something. I'm not sure if I'm gonna return.
Mhm.
Another thing that was cool about that scene, just by the way, was that after that, I had her go stay at my cousin's house. I said, here's a bag of silver coins. Go stay at my cousin's house because I'm not sure what course of action I'm going to do. And if I take the wrong course of action, I don't know if the queen and her men are going to come after my family. So you need to get out of here. It just feels so real, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I would say that would feel more real if that character, if you had actually role played with that character and actually built a relationship with them, like in real time, in previous sessions, rather than it being chalked up to, well, in my backstory, I'm supposed to care about them, because then you have to conjure the feeling of caring rather than actually caring, because you literally have had relationship with this NPC previously. And I'm not sure which was the case in your session.
I don't think it was rolled up as part of my family. I think it was an extra that came up in the moment. But I'll say I like campaigns more than one shots because of that.
Mhm.
Because you can bring up past relationships that you had and to change your character as the campaign goes along.
Yes, it feels real.
You can see the change in your character happening over time.
We got a question in the comments here from Space Roadie. If you want serious play, then why are you playing a fantasy D20 class/level games? And I'm thinking to myself of,
why not?
Yeah, like why not is the first question. And the question was, well, can I even do it? That's why I did D&D 5th edition. And we didn't even think twice about it, but we had 7 sessions with no level up. And the game was fine. It didn't feel like, oh, we are missing a core game mechanic of the D&D experience. No, we role-played. Our characters were real. They went through real shit, and some of them died at the end. Trying to fight a Hydra to come back to the tribe with glory and honor.
So this
This
probably converges into my eventual topic, but my response to that is just that for me, class-based and level-based games at that point, those games for me are kind of like training wheel games. Like at a certain point, they are really useful for somebody who is not familiar with the archetypes, who is not familiar with the fantasy genre, but at a certain point,
right.
I prefer to rely on a table that wants to do more of the creative thinking and the creative legwork into the setting, as opposed to having these preset kits for easy access, like DCC and things like that, and the other D&D derivatives. They're really useful for just like, oh, we're playing the game tomorrow. Oh, okay, I'll play this. But
right. They want to sit down. They want to sit down and think, I'm gonna roleplay Conan the Barbarian. Well, what do I pick? Oh, there's the Barbarian class, and the question answers itself.
Yeah, it's quick and casual.
Yeah, I've said before. Well, I don't know if I've said it on video, but I've said before I don't like levels. I don't like classes. D&D is not my favorite. Where your sometimes your bonus is too small. Just different things. D&D and D&D related games.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally just got a hankering for it.
The verse.
I was like, man, I want to go back to the classic D&D feel, I guess. And we're going through it, and yes, I've said I don't like levels, I don't like classes. But
we're playing Shadow Dark, damn it.
we're role playing just fine. So I think system matters, but I think the people you're playing with and staying in character matters 1,000,000% more.
Yes, the whole levels and whatnot, it scratches a human itch. That's why Gygax made it. That's why it's been popular for 50 years. Humans do like crunch. We like winning. We like leveling up, right? But my approach is to take all those things that humans enjoy, your classes, your levels, your identities, etc., and just make it diegetic and immersive. Actually give it language and vocabulary to make it make sense in the world so that you can roleplay it. But you don't want to remove it, right? I don't like the rules light, just roll a d100 and you're good, because that doesn't scratch the itch. It goes all in on roleplay, and it takes away the game part and the crunch part. And I think people will always find themselves going back, even if dabbling every once in a while, they'll always come back to a more crunchy game, because roleplaying just cannot satisfy this other part of our brain. Like, we want crunch, we want games, we want to win.
In a way, that's a thing that I solve with the way I roleplay in Pathfinder, because you clearly have experience points, but we never end the session saying, oh, you gained 2,000 experience points, because those points don't mean anything. But what it represents, I find, is definitely representative of, yeah, you go on a journey, you fight monsters, you solve problems, you get to know people, you get to know different countries or different region, you interact with more humans, you gain experience as a character. And the way I like to roleplay that is thinking of like where my character's starting and have an idea of how to roleplay him. But the more I interact with people, the more I change his demeanor or enforce the demeanor based on how people act around him. As the dwarf, like, does he think all humans are lazy? Is one of the questions, because dwarven culture are very harsh and very strict and take a lot of pride in their work. Human cultures, it's all up in the air, depending on where you go. That depending which culture, it can be different from country to country even. And even like between the city and the village, like people in the village might take pride in their work, but people in the city might not. And all of that will reinforce like how I roleplay my dwarf. To be like, oh yes, you're honorable people, or I can't believe you guys are still going on, as a race. And have like experience be like, okay, I level up. So I become wiser, I become more experienced. And then the part of like, I might also get tougher because we are constantly on adventures. There's a level of suspension of disbelief of what's the difference between 5 hit points and 50 hit points.
Right.
That one is tough, that one's still tough. But I think that's also a big reason why I enjoy the low-level games, level 1 to 7, a lot more than, oh, let's go to level 15 and become demigods.
Right. And on that notion, to kind of pivot that back to what Arch was just saying about the crunchy games, I do want to ask, would you say, like, what in your example, were you describing Mythras as a crunchy game or D&D system as a crunchy game?
D&D, I haven't played Mythras. I've watched a bunch of videos on like how it's played, and they've run through mock. I may have actually watched a kind of live play or something. I don't remember. But yeah, D&D end up that level of crunch where it's just meaty enough that you can hit the right buttons and you can win, and you can get some kind of green check mark, cha-ching, like you level up something, right? Or humans were wired for that.
You mean like increasing the proficiency bonus through levels? So
number go up.
Your attributes. Yeah, the number go up is a very classic thing game designers constantly play with to make the game interesting for players. Of like, oh, a new weapon. Oh, like I have more points to put into strength. Oh, my reputation improves. All of that.
And personally, I am beyond a number go up. I am no longer interested in number go up. That's just me. Like, I think if I want number go up is best served in video games. Personally.
Exactly. I think there are people like you and Crispy and probably lots of people on that server who get that number go up fix elsewhere, and so they view tabletop as just an avenue for roleplay. But I cannot enjoy video games. They're just so poorly designed. I have to get all my fixes, my roleplay, my crunch, my number, my social. I have to get everything from one thing, from tabletop. It is my only enjoyable hobby. So I'm like, how do I make this the most enjoyable thing? The Arch game. I'll just stuff everything into it.
Is there
That's fair.
Is there something well designed beyond You running tabletop?
As
an example.
Okay, just like the crunch number go up, the feeling of power and
something
winning
that
and whatnot.
unifies that other than RPGs, or is that strictly to when you run RPGs?
I don't get satisfied anymore. Like 5-10 years ago, I used to really enjoy Titanfall 2. Best multiplayer shooter ever made, as far as I know. I killed it. I loved it. It was awesome. But I just downloaded it and tried playing it the other day, and it just wasn't fun. Why? Because you have to spend so many hours, like days and days and days, getting the rust off and getting back to the level that you were before. I just don't have time for that. I'm a dad. I have work to do. I cannot spend 100 hours to then start having fun, right? So nothing is... I have a whole different opinion. I'm going to make like a different YouTube channel one day and just talk about video games. I have completely different opinions about video games than I do about tabletop. But no, unfortunately, to answer your question, I don't enjoy... I don't get any of that power, that crunch, that conquering, that winning. I was actually like depressed last week because like my dopamine was all out, and I was just like, I just want to win something. I just want to accomplish something. Like nothing is working. What thing have I actually accomplished, dear wife? Like I feel like my
I beseech thee.
I was crashing out. I was just like, oh, life is so hard. And then my YouTube channel got like 100 subscribers in a month, and I'm like, yes, okay, I'm doing something.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Yeah,
We're so back.
That's why I work on my system and my YouTube so much. This is the way that I can succeed. This is the way I can win and see the number go up. It's literally my work. It's YouTube and my system. That's all I have right now.
No, don't make it all you have. I think that's a problem, right? Not that it's a problem for you, but it's a problem for people in general. If you take one hobby and you turn it into your whole identity. Obsession, and like specifically identity, because it can be an obsession, and your obsession leaves. Like you exercise the demon out of you. Like, okay, I got it out of the system. I got it done. I figured it out. I can move on.
Look at all these dice. What am I gonna do with all these dice?
The problem.
I think husband and father should rank high. No, I'm sure you weren't saying that, but
no, I'm saying that it's the only thing that I have to scratch that itch of accomplishment, right?
It's really fun. And I've had the same thing. I've made those with the last insight-roleplay. I've talked about some drama, and it's the whole thing of like, okay, why talk about it? It's prescient. People are talking about it. It's a role-playing show, so we can't talk about it. It's not to bring the absolute truth and like unveil everything, but what's our opinion about how it's being handled? And that one got 3,000 views. I've never had 3,000 views in my life. The biggest video had 400 views before, and now I am like 7 times above that. And the comment section is full of people trying to correct me. It's like, it's okay, guys. I don't care that much. I found it interesting that so much money, like so many fans cared to spend $100,000 to get people to play a game together. That's the fascinating part for me. Of like not even as a pay-per-view like a WWE match, but we pay up front for the promise of a fun time, of watching you duke it out in a ring, or like role play it out at a table.
Slightly get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't need another grammar video for our channel. Like, I'm good. I got the 3,000 views. Thank you guys who all watched. Very, very graciously accept that.
I just wanted to touch on one more topic. It was posed to Elf Hunter because Mythras talking about diegetic mechanics in role-playing games. This might be something that you'd also like, Arch, where Mythras has a forbidden section at the back of the book that when I was talking to Austin, he's like, we don't talk about that section. That's the magic section. Because Austin doesn't mess with magic in his Mythras games because of how detailed it is. And we agree that in Mythras, the reason why it's so diegetic, the magic system, is because it gives you the wide scope of the vibrant magic that you can have, but you need to boil it down. Or rather, it is already boiled down. You have to give it structure. So you have to world build in order for it to work, or it just doesn't make any sense. You can't just have a player be like, I'm a shaman. you have no idea what that means. You can't even begin. Like you need to create spirits. You need lists of spirits that you're summoning, or I create the list for you. You know, it's not just I'm a wizard. You know, it's so much more detailed than that game.
So they don't have pre-listed spirits like they have pre-listed spells.
They have they have some examples, but it's like you have like build a bear, where it's like here are all the abilities a spirit can have. Now create a spirit.
Oh, I see.
It never directly tells you what to do, but like reading through it, you get the sense you're like, okay, I'm not just supposed to pull something out of this. I'm supposed to understand the concepts behind what it's telling me and make something. Like there's the Cults and Brotherhoods chapter.
Yeah.
There's
you
like
need to make a cult, you need to make a brotherhood. That's the way it works.
And that's where you get your spell from or whatever.
See, I like the diegetic immersive thing where they put it in the world. Like, you're not just a monk of open hand, you're a monk of that monastery on the hill that practices open hand. I like that. I'm totally doing that for my system, my setting, all of it. It's super, super integrated. But you have, like, I think it's the job of the designer to do that work for the arbiter, for the GM, so that they don't have to, lower the barrier to entry.
Right, that's definitely a thing that was missing in our Pathfinder game, because that I brought in from my end as a role player that tries to get immersed into my character. When I create a dwarf monk, the idea was, oh, what if I role play a monk? Because I find playing a martial arts fighter that is also a dwarf is really fun. It's a power fantasy, it's a power trip. But also being a monk instead of a brawler or fighter brings a sense of like balance, of inner peace. And I combined that with having been enslaved by the Drow in the Underdark for 20 years. And I'm thinking, what monastery am I from? Who's my master? The answer is nobody. I had to learn this in slavery to sustain my mind and survive the constant barrage of like abuse and humiliation of these elven race that really want to break me apart. It's like, they may break my body, but they will never break my will. That's how he became a monk level 1. Of the base level, what does it mean to be a monk? And I found that so much more exciting. That's what really made me exciting to roleplay this character, because now it's not just a black dwarf that's also a monk. Now I have a whole vision for my character that's so different from anything I've roleplayed before.
And when you get into it, it's not like a meme of, "Ooh, this is my reason for not liking Drow, and this is my favorite Drow enemy." That kind of nonsense. This is, I meet a Drow for the first time in 5 years. I might not even hate them. I found inner peace under their purview. Like I might thank them or some weird shit. Ask him why he's on the surface. Being more friendly. Like, why is he so friendly with the? You have so many more things to consider in that moment. When you think that deeply.
Absolutely. It's what makes those scenes interesting, instead of looking at the character sheet, be like, oh yeah, my background is slave, therefore I must hate them, and then you come to the role-playing table with this attitude to this NPC that feels like tacked on.
Yeah, tacked on.
We can move on, by the way. Like, I was
about to say,
yeah.
If Dom or Arch want to go with their section.
Dom, go ahead. Mine is an afterthought. If we don't get to it, I won't be upset.
So is mine. So my thing is I think there's been another way to say this, and it's been said a few times now, and it's the system matters, right? The system matters talk. My thing, right? System matters, but also I kind of think of it as system mastery. So, talking about Mythras, right? Talking about RuneQuest, talking about the Arch game, talking about 5e, Pathfinder. To my deeper consideration when thinking about these games is, what is the point of the system? Like, why am I doing this? Why have I chosen you, game?
It's to crawl through a dungeon. It's in the name, Dungeon Crawl Classics. Crawl through the dungeon.
Like Grognar says right there in the chat, where seamless roleplay, system mastery would get you to when everybody has mastered the system, for me, then that is when you can begin experimenting. You know the ins and outs. You get the feel, and you have interpreted some level of intent behind the system. And
Right.
I don't care about rules as written, but I do care about the spirit of a system. And like D&D, is the spirit of that system is dungeon crawling and skirmish combats. Done. Right? That's cool. We can play that game. But how do you manipulate it after you've understood that? How do you move beyond it or pick another system, right? And to segue that into this game here, this is a common enemy. We discussed it a bit before the stream, and essentially, it's my common enemy isn't a game. It's a way to approach a setting, and it's that setting is like a dark tokusatsu. We think like Power Rangers most commonly, but like edgy, bloody. Bio Booster Guyver is the more common anime that people have seen. But basically transforming superheroes who hate everything. Everything is horrible, but they are still champions of justice in a dark world kind of thing. But the system we're using is a generic superhero system, in theory, made by Zach Smith of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. It hasn't really seen an official release. It's just like a thing you can buy off of him. And like an alpha stage, pre-alpha stage. But it's very swingy. It's got a really bizarre initiative combat that we can discuss in a moment after this clip. But essentially it is it has a unique feel that very few games also have. But we can, unless anyone has any questions, we can just go into it.
Yeah, I think we can watch a clip. So Power Rangers, but more edgy and more brooding is what I'm getting here.
Yep. And you'll see behind Nicholas, behind Mark, you've got his
extra throw, or
transformation.
agility with an extra throw.
I see the bullets go past me.
The other one taking a knee. Now both guns trailed on Wanderlight.
I quickly cross my arms. Blind flash! Trying to blind the whole room. With the quick green flashlight, flashbang, I start methodically blinking all around, kicking one in the neck, elbow strike against another one, grabbing two by the head once again, planking them together.
I'm gonna pause here real quick.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So there was the die roll happening, and since you both rolled, it's a contested roll. I was thinking that like Nicholas at the top right was expecting you to describe what happens, but you made the hand motion to be like, no, you do it.
I did speak up. I did speak up when I shouldn't have, because why the fuck would I describe his power? You know, I was like, I got really excited, and I was like, what am I doing? What am I about to describe right here? No, it's fucking that's you thing, man. But the way it is that everything is contested, or it should be. But if you have any questions, we can go on.
I think we can continue. I just really like that he did the thing, this Power Rangers thing, or this anime thing of you describe what the power is called, you say it out loud, and you do the movement, which is very Super Sentai. Hiya! You do the power pose, right? Your JoJo stance, and then the effect happens, which doesn't really fit in a D&D game or in like a modern setting or detective noir film, but it really fits for Super Sentai Power Rangers Kamen enemy setting.
So something I do want to emphasize too is that what he just rolled for his blinding flash was such an obscenely high roll, because it's just a powerful power, that these goons would be blind for like a week. Like they're gone. They have guns and they're blind. Like they're just to give you context for what's about to happen. He knows that. We've discussed it already before the game. He knows how messed up they are right now.
Right. Yeah. He has an understanding of the power level, so to say. Like if you use anime terms for the powers. Okay. Can continue then.
These two are concussed, unable to quickly shake off the blinding attack, as in the distance there are the three other goons all reeling. What the fuck was that?
Holding one by the back of the scuff of his neck. My bug-like voice. It is your chance to run away now.
Doomwake, there is a flash that from beneath doors could be seen, just pours and juts through.
I lean over to my transformed minion and say, whatever happens, I want you to hold the enemy down. My voice will do the rest. And I take a position behind the transformed goon and point towards the doors where I saw the flash emanate from.
The flash originating from the halls of the school, the first floor halls. The goons, the sound of goons, your minions can be heard throughout. Fuck! One ripping out a walkie-talkie. Fucking, I can't see! I don't know what the hell that was. It wasn't. I've been fucking maced. I fucking got hit with a fucking flash before. But
his voice gets interrupted with a loud
screaming.
All right, I'm muted. Want to pause here real quick. One thing that I noticed is Chris at the bottom. It interrogates the world where the flash originated from. At a normal table, what people usually do is ask the game master, where did that flash happen? Can you tell me? And the game master would oblige, because that's the friendly thing to do. And this is a great example of it's an example of I look for where the flash came from.
Real quick, Zonalar.
Yeah.
At the moment, the chat's saying that the video, the stream that we're watching, can't be seen, like the clip.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, but did they hear the clip?
Hopefully,
they should be able to hear the clip.
Cool.
But yes, I switched the scene for you guys. Let me know, if they didn't hear the clip, it's gonna be a problem.
I see it now on the stream.
All right, fantastic. We can't see the clip. Yes, it's there we go, guys. I only have 2 monitors. I need 4 monitors to run everything now.
After the game, actually, do you bring up the interrogating of the world? Interesting that you say that, because at the end we have a post-game talk about that, and the way, because we discussed it, because the entire session is happening within this abandoned school, and Chris ended up actually kind of being confused as to the levels of the floors of the school.
Right.
But the way that Nicholas envisioned it was on the same. He and I envisioned the same idea as far as locations of everything, not having an actual map. So that is a very, very fun thing for me to think about. Going back and being okay, were we confused?
Right, yeah, you imagine a high school. I immediately imagine whatever the standard city anime high school area is, because they all look the same, since anime take shortcuts to always draw the same things from their frames of reference of, it's Tokyo. because that's where all the mangakas are located.
I just mean too, like I think the big thing with Chris was that he thought like the gym, for example, was on the second floor, whereas it was the first. So like that was like a big like I could see how he would like be stunned in the middle of the session because of that, and be asking for that kind of clarity like he did there. But the reason why I love this scene specifically is that up until this point we've been very typical combat, describing actions, firing, resolving, but when he did the blinding flash and he knows that they're blinded, he's already fought them, he's already seen their dice values on screen, so he can kind of like diegetically tell how good of a fighter they are. He knew that he would trounce them, especially now because they're taking a penalty to their combat because they're blind. So what he did there was that he's just one-tapping them. He's blinded them, now he's describing like a Shadow of Mordor, just kill Cam on these guys as, Chris's turn is being taken. So I thought that was a very good example of like a high trust, approach to the rules that might be cheating, but I appreciate it. I think it was a good interpretation of rules.
Yes, when a character is asleep, you don't need to make an attack roll.
Mm-hmm.
He has 19 armor, you might miss while he's asleep.
It becomes that, and it's like maybe.
But I pull out the knife, I raise his arm, I stab under the shoulder until he bleeds out like, well, an enemy.
Mm-hmm. But
it's not that complicated, guys.
There were a lot of mistakes of rules in this session, or this entire series for that matter, just not knowing how certain mechanics worked. But talking about the system mastery, I really liked this game because everything was very blatant, especially digitally, where you see everything. Because the way kind of, just very briefly, you declare in reverse order of perception, which is why we have all our D6s on the screen,
right?
Our perception scores, and then you resolve in the order that they are rolled. So your 2-hit is almost like your initiative instead of your 2-hit. It's very strange, but that way you can kind of naturally follow the comic panel, as it were, as the game is randomly resolved.
Right.
It's not like a typical round robin.
Okay.
So it's not like speed and strength is separate. It's almost, if you're really strong, you're also the first that lands a strike kind of deal.
It's how strong you are, or like how efficient you are. Because if I have energy blast and my energy blast is super high and I do it, well, I'm the best at energy blasts. I don't care how if you're weaker than me in theory, or your combat prowess is lesser than my ability to fire an energy blast, I'm gonna get you first. So, or I have a higher chance to, I should say.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You wanna finish this clip?
It's just Chris being cool.
Okay.
I mean, you can.
Let's watch
I command the thug next to me, go. Open the door. Strike our enemy.
That's it.
Assuming direct control.
Yeah.
That was a really cool setting and characters there. I loved watching that back then.
This one, in hindsight, because I made up my topic right just now. This one, I love this scene. This was David. This was my ritual sacrifice to my brain goddess.
Yeah.
That I harvested. So I like the scene, and for the sake of like talking about like narration, we can watch it, but it doesn't really have. It's not too applicable right now.
Fine.
You want to watch it or skip it then?
It can be skipped. It's not too integral to my.
All right. I can keep it for later if we happen to have some time at the very end.
Sure.
I see you brought Mr. Max clip.
Yes. Yeah, this one illustrates the example a bit better. Or no, it doesn't. Not at all. I just like this clip a lot. This is like the meme clip that people would kind of make fun of almost, where it's like just what he does, but it's like it's the reason why I dig 4D. It was the clicking moment for me.
Oh, okay. So this is what got you interested in learning more about 4D roleplay.
Yeah,
okay.
Other than just fucking endlessly watching genre videos.
Okay, let's watch it.
Henry Lambert. In
I'm sitting in
the Blue Lotus Tavern.
I'm sitting there in the jazz bar, the Blue Lotus, smoking a cigarette. I'm watching a card game a little further away. I'm pretty sure one of the guys cheating. I'm interested in what's going to happen. I take off my pocket watch and look at the time.
It's the afternoon, 3:00.
Put it back. Finish up my coffee. I go to the bar. Get up and I go to the bar and ask the barman there. Did you receive a communication for me? I'm waiting an important message from one of my contacts.
Oh yeah, I can see why you think this is a meme. I want to hear Arch's take on this of what it could possibly be that we're thinking of here.
So wait, I just have to interpret what you're guessing based on the clip?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's a challenge, but I think you got it.
Did you set me up for this, Dom?
No, this was my favorite.
Well, obviously, co-creation. He's sitting there, I see a card game, and I think a guy's cheating, and then he's giving that to the GM, and the GM gets to decide if they're going to do anything with that, which, I'm pretty sure everyone knows my opinion on that. But something I noticed, which, again, is not even... I never even mentioned this as a criticism of co-creation, but something I noticed is the... he says, I pull out my watch, and he's been sitting there co-creating every detail the whole time. And I was expecting him to say, I pull out my watch, it's 3:00. I put it away. I was expecting him to just keep going. But he sat there, and it's like, oh, this is what the GM should do. It's like, hold on. If you're able to co-create pretty much anything, why didn't you just co-create the time? Like, how do you know that is specifically the GM's job and not yours? Again, this is a nitpick because I don't actually care. That's not my problem with co-creation. But I've noticed where the GM was even caught off guard. Anyway, yes, it's clearly a wonderful expert exercise of co-creation by Mr. Max.
I think that's
the pocket watch.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it is the pocket watch. The pocket watch is my favorite part because he is doing all of the co-creation elements, but it is the prompt, right, as it were, and that might be meta. That might be unimmersive, but I love it. I think the subtle way to ask the GM that kind of a question without breaking character, I love it.
Oh yes, of course. I think that is the only way it should be done. That is the part that I like, where I check the time on my pocket watch. Right, the GM should know. Oh, this is my time to shine. I just think it kind of muddies it a little bit when half the time you're making things up and the other half of the time you're leaving it to the GM. But again, that's a minor issue. I don't actually care that much.
That's okay. Look, the question is sincere because I want to know if you're thinking on the same wavelength, but I do find this interesting of very much, do you invent those people playing cards and is somebody cheating? But also, I'm gonna look for the time because moving time is definitely outside my character's purview. But the same is like inventing people playing cards. I think it's okay if you just want to invent, some people are playing cards in the room to make sure it's not empty, but it can be, and that one is hard to decide. Maybe the game master wants the room to be empty, and now you create people into the room, and that can undercut the theme or intention. Like what the game master was going for. Maybe he wanted to set up like a spooky scenario where something happens and he's the only one that witnesses it.
Or any number of things. And you can't say, that's a control freak GM. It's like, no, the GM has an idea of what's going on in the world, and that's their right because they're the arbiter, they're running the world. And to me, it's just a little messy. And yes, with high trust, that can solve the messy problem because everyone just runs with it. But to me, I would rather have something that's very clearly defined and consistent rather than high trust and messy.
It's much closer to how we are running the Pathfinder game because we've set that one up as a 3D session instead of a 4D before we had like trying to redefine 4D to make it more approachable to newcomers. It was very much of, yeah, we are not taking control over the world when we create stuff. We really just want to be able to like find a seat in the tavern because there should be seats about, even if the game master didn't explicitly mention it.
Yeah.
Because it's both an adventure module, so there's a story behind it, and the town exists and NPCs exist, but also there's a whole setting of Golarion behind that as well that we are taking into consideration.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that co-creation. The GM sets a tavern, you say, I find a seat, I walk up to the bar, the barman, etc. Everyone knows that's what's in a tavern. So,
but maybe the tavern is full. Maybe there are no free seats, you know. But that's the thing of like, we make assumptions that are reasonable, and if the tavern is full, then the game master had a moment to, you know, entering the tavern, it's bustling full.
A lot of I think a lot of the times where it gets messy is solved by a good description in the first place. Like when you enter the tavern, GM's not going to describe every little thing, but you should probably know if it's empty, full, or somewhere in between. And that's just a sentence. So with things like, there's a guy playing cards. I don't care. That's fine. I used to be a bit more like you, Architrave, where I wanted the GM role and the player role to be separate and distinct. And more I play 4D, the less I mind those kind of co-creations.
And that's a really interesting development, and you're not the first person to tell me that. So I'm looking forward to playing more 4D and actually, you know, fully getting into it, because, you know, I for one am actually willing to give it a try. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing if my opinion updates as I play more.
Something I do want to bring up, and I brought it up in the bacon chat. Zonalar, it's the conversation I keep going back to with you and Conway and me.
Before you move on to that, I did want to hearken to what I was thinking is Mr. Max is taking way too many turns. First of all, he already prompted the GM if they are cheating or not, but then he walked all over the GM by looking at his pocket watch. I'm sitting there, what? Like, shut your mouth, Mr. Max. It's not. You took 4 turns already. Why are you taking 3 more turns while all the other players are waiting for their turn? That was like way out of bounds for me.
You can tell Max is enjoying himself. He's just sitting there embodying character. I'm doing my thing. I don't care what you say.
Exactly.
Yeah. That entire game had all 3 of their turns were really long, all their intro turns. But it was, to kind of go back to the thing. It was I forget the word you used, but it was our conversation, and it was with you, me, and Conway, and I forget the word you used on alert, but it was the whole trench coat on a rack conversation. Where it was the conversation of Conway, you know, misrepresenting him, right? He's not here. Thinks that you should never threaten the retcon or the GM clarification. We all kind of have the caveat of players can introduce things, but the GM retains the ability to veto those things. So
like change elements to it. That's okay. Maybe there is a code, but it's not hanging at the code rack anymore. You knew that the code was there, and then the GM introduces, no, the code is missing as an element. Because for some reason he doesn't want the code to exist right now.
Right. Or I pull out, the thing was like, you pull out the note, I pull out a note from inside the trench code and open it, right? And that's the opening it is your prompt for the GM. But you let up, you created all this other stuff getting to the code, right? And the fact that there was a note. So the conversation that I liked here is that Conway made a distinction that even the threat of the retcon in the first place is no good for his approach. Personally, you know, I'm okay with it, but that is a session 0. Like, are we okay with threatening a veto, or we're not? That shouldn't even be in your dialogue or your narrations. You can't even don't even consider that. And that was the thing he landed on.
Good faith. It's I won't co-create anything that will give the GM a hard time. That'll force him to veto.
You're
I'm not
being too
co-creating.
nice, Elf Hunter, okay? I have only 2 hours to play every week, you know? So once I start a session, I look at like, why is the tsunami approaching the city? And toss this hot potato. I just toss this hot potato, like, long range, be like, go on, GM, run, catch it.
I do want to try bigger co-creations, see what happens. But yeah, it's all...
I am joking,
I trust.
if that's
I
not
trust.
obvious, but yes. This is the
The
most
other-
extreme example of co-creating danger into the world. Of like, I guess that's what we are doing now. It feels unfair to the game master if he did not agree to that in the first place.
Exactly. We
I
should have
think
talked about it.
the ability to veto anything and high trust in combination solves that problem already.
Yeah.
Problem of bad co-creations, but I haven't seen a 4D game yet where the GM vetoes something.
Like outright.
So
right?
it's probably a good thing.
I've seen some like but I haven't seen like a no. I haven't seen that before.
Right.
And the way that I kind of rationalize it in character or in world, right, is that the GM has the objective reality, right? The GM is the reality, quote unquote. Whereas the players, anything they introduce, anything they really say, right, is subjective as opposed to the objectivity of the GM. So you could say that, player, go for it, but you might be wrong, right? You can co-create a setting element, but you might be entirely wrong.
And the difference would be that your character's wrong, not the player.
Exactly.
That's the way I have a message here by Space Road since he's like pushing back. He's saying stuff like, skill issue once again, just get good. Like, I don't allow taverns. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want to roleplay in a tavern, I'm okay with that. Like, the world is big enough that we can roleplay for hours and hours and hours, never enter a tavern. But this one, since we are talking about high trust and like being able to communicate with different players of, nah, I can vibe with strangers just fine as long as they can play.
Yeah.
Is that really, are strangers a problem for high trust gaming, yes or no? And how do we define that? Yes, let's go with that.
Is what a problem for high trust?
Like role-playing with strangers that show up at the table, and you didn't have time to vet them. You also, might be a convention game, might just be somebody brought his friend along to roleplay with you guys. But it's like, no, I can vibe with strangers just fine as long as they can play, right? Like oh yeah, I know the rules, or I understand roleplay. Don't worry, let's get into this.
I can vibe with them. I'm not going to 4D with them. We can roleplay, but I'm not expecting them to streamline, unceasingly in character. You know?
Yeah. I'm almost immediately lowering my levels of expectations for the table to accommodate the stranger.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of where.
It's almost like a bigotry of low expectations. Like, oh, I don't know you, therefore I don't trust it.
You should be picky with who you play with, because at a certain point, no matter if you achieve 4D seamlessly, as you know, if you achieve the arch dream, even then it becomes a point of, well, I don't actually like your vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the characters you play, so I might not want to do that with you. It might just become a taste thing.
Right.
And no stranger is going to, that's never heard of roleplay, is just going to come up with 4D or the Arch Dream just themselves, just out of nowhere.
Like, spontaneously combusts into 4D, you know? It's like, no, I haven't. Yeah. I've seen roleplay happen at live tables, and then they switch back to talking about a rule or asking a question.
There's a lot of on and off, and mostly off, yeah.
Yes.
So the question really is, can you roleplay with them, or can you 4D roleplay them or Arch Dream with them? I think you can roleplay with pretty much anyone. The tables that I've been at, I 4D, or close enough, 4D without co-creation. I stay in character the whole time.
Okay.
And I don't expect any of the others to, but I hope that I inspire them to. I've had some players say like, oh wow, that's like I like your roleplay, or that's really interesting. I was even a GM at a convention one time, and I told people, yeah, technically you're not supposed to ask the GM question like, are there torches? You're supposed to say, I look around the room for torches. And she was like, oh, that's really cool. I really like that, right? So like I can have an example, I can do it, but I don't necessarily expect it from them because obviously. But I don't think it stops you from doing it.
And that's the big thing of, okay, strangers at the table, to help them clue in of how you wish to run the game and see, like, are they even open to it in the first place? Because if they're open to it, all right, yeah, let's give it a shot. And if not, okay, I'm settling my expectations for who is at the table so that I'm not frustrated the whole session and letting it out on them. I think that's the biggest faux pas of, I'm frustrated because I didn't get my Michelin star meal and I let it out on the other guy at the table, even though he never guaranteed me a Michelin star meal anyways,
Yeah, if it's someone I just met and have intention to speak with again, I don't think I would want to 4D, because at a certain point, if they're a stranger, me seamlessly role-playing with you, I wouldn't. Like, I'd like to actually get to know who this person is.
True.
So I would want the off in the case of a stranger, personally.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to take it where Space Roadie's putting it down, if that makes sense. So he says he can vibe with strangers just fine as long as they play. So I'm imagining these are, they're strangers, but he explains to them kind of how to role play first. It's not sitting down at a random convention table. I don't think that's what he's talking about. But I think in Space Roadie, you can let me know. But I think he's talking about
like friend of a friend,
a friend of a friend or something.
Yeah, that's different.
Briefly explain what we're doing here.
Yeah,
and then they should be able to role play.
Yeah, for that. Yes.
I've seen him talk about like running pickup games on different Discords where role playing is a topic. It's like, hey guys, I got time at 5 p.m. Who wants to join? Let's play something.
Yeah, I don't think you have to know somebody to roleplay with them, just in general, even a 4D. My vetted session, I met the two guys, or the three guys, in person first time, and we all roleplayed together. So I don't think there's any limitation as long as everyone can actually do it. I agree with Rody.
All right. So let's move on to Arch, since we got 20 minutes left, and I'm like, no! I want to give you at least half an hour.
No, I'm fine. No, really. So you can this is corkboards. You can skip that one. I don't want to bash on Val. I think she's fine. But the other one, this one, not quite blood boiling, but man, it was like holding a torch to my blood, like a little, just like, dude. Okay, so to be fair, to be 100% fair, he does openly say, this is not for sandbox GMs. If you want emergent play, this isn't for you. This is for game masters who want to tell your story to your players, right? It's not an exact quote, but it's like the absolute essence of what he said. And he doubled down and said it again later. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, you can say all you want. Oh, this isn't roleplay and whatnot. Here, let's just play the timestamps. Let me hear it again and let my blood boil.
I'm gonna play it like at 40 seconds. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we do you have like a synopsis, like a pitch for is there a through line between these videos, or is it just things you want to tackle?
So my only clip is this one video, and it's two separate spots in this one video.
Gotcha. I'm gonna play.
It should serve as a guide to help you, the Dungeon Master, tell a more cohesive and coherent story. That way you're not going from one session to the next wondering what is going to happen, or bouncing around the story, or just having it feel like your entire story thread is a big ball of yarn. What this outline should be is a place for you to put down your ideas, and most importantly, set a new...
He's like, it's not supposed to be a ball of yarn that's bouncing around from one thing to another. Bro, that's called emergent play. That's called the heart of the hobby. That's called literally role-playing your character. What are you talking about? It's not supposed to be that. Like, he's going at, like, no, to be fair, like, this isn't for sandbox GMs. It's like, well, then it's not for GMs. If you are telling your game masters of D&D how to write a novel and tell a story, you're poisoning the hobby. That's not what dungeon masters are supposed to do. That's not what D&D is about. You're in a different hobby. Call it something else. Don't come into our hobby and start confusing all of our people with your movie script writer nonsense. It's like someone going to play golf. He's like, oh yeah, I like to play golf, but I like to play a type of golf where we get the football and we throw it at each other. It's like, that's golf. What are you doing? Wrong hobby. It's like, there's no wrong way to play. It's like, yes, there is. You're throwing a dodgeball and a football in golf. Like, golf has rules. It's played a certain way. I'm so tired of people having this idea that there's no wrong way to play Dungeons and Dragons. Of course there is. Of course, there's a wrong way to do anything, and there's a correct way to do anything. If the thing has rules and convention, there's a correct way to do it. Like, all right, back up like 5 seconds. I want to finish this sentence.
I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. I think if we're talking about right and wrong, I would say that the narrative approach to something like 5e is the right way to do it, because the game and the system has these dumb abstract structures, like all these class abilities, like all these powers, these combat spells, and these stupid rest rules that allow for the GM to set up the narrative in such a very specific way to facilitate these small skirmish battles. I think, like, as a system that it's written, I would lean harder on this being the true form of 5e than a more open-ended game.
It's both of what is encouraged in the rules section and how the encounter difficulties work of CR for monsters, and how many common encounters you should run for one session. Like, oh, hey, have 8 encounters, make sure 4 of them are combat, and like some are exploration and some are social encounters. And also how they write their adventure books for D&D as well.
Is that an abuse of roleplay? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the world that 5e, that 5e has given us.
Okay, but you have to take it as that. If it's an abuse of roleplay, and definitely an abuse of player agency, then if it's a role-playing game, and I subscribe to the Alexander McCree's prescription of you look at the essence of the thing to find out what it is. The one thing that is unique to it is embodying the character and playing that role with full agency. That is the essence of the game. That is immutable. You cannot simply decide that the essence of an RPG isn't player agency. Okay? You can make an absolute mess out of it, but you cannot change the essence. So he's still playing contrary to the essence of an RPG. Even if it has a ton of bad rules tacked on top, the essence remains, and it's still violating the essence. He's about to say the most egregious thing in this section. Rewind like another 5 seconds, and then let him finish.
Is a place for you to put down your ideas, and most importantly, set a new finish line after every single session. So this outline is a living, breathing document that you should be...
Set a new finish line after every session. So after every session, you're like, all right, here's the next finish line. Here's the next thing that we got to do. Here's the next railroad. Here's the next stop on our railroad. Here's a new finish line. It's like, that's literally railroading. You're telling people, make sure you plan all the stops ahead. It's like, bro, that's literally railroading. I don't care if 5e has, super powerful rest mechanics. Railroading is railroading, and it's always bad, and it's always counter to the essence of the game. I don't care how much you like it. It's a different hobby in a different game. It is not true to the essence of Dungeons and Dragons.
So it's like you invited your player to get on this bus trip with them to explore this beautiful world. And you say at the end of the session, don't worry, next session is going to be the last bus stop. And the next session happens, and another bus stop gets invented. Session after session after session. The trip never ends. You never get to leave the bus and then actually look at the world and interact with it. Just like, oh, look at this beautiful mountain range. Yeah, it would be beautiful if I could walk over it. Let me out of the bus.
If we're talking about the essence of a thing, I kind of want to highlight the characters in 5e mechanically. And I think, having talked about Mythras already, I think that's a very good comparison. I would say the essence of a 5e, or really any D&D edition, the essence of a character is their class. Whereas in Mythras, we've already kind of discussed it, the essence of a Mythras character is their background. So with Mythras and like who they are, where they came from, is significantly more important and is not analogous to a class. These are very different things, because 5e has backgrounds. They're just dog shit. They don't really do much of anything for you. So if we're talking about the essence of a thing, I think the essence of a 5e character, therefore what you are interacting with in the system, right, I think the essence of a character lends itself to this narrative, this not narrative necessarily, but the skirmish game. So I am still leaning towards that.
It's not even that. It's not even that skirmish is bad, or that you shouldn't be doing skirmishes or dungeon crawls. It's the fact that the GM, this guy is openly telling people, you need to be 100% in charge and write the story. He literally uses story, the story you are writing. He literally says that. It's not about skirmish or dungeon crawl or overland travel. It's about who actually gets to decide if it is skirmish, dungeon overland travel, etc.
I think the story is very important in this case, because at a certain point, if the combat encounters are misbalanced, if they're not pre-prepared, and you're going into it willy-nilly, then you're going to have a situation of feeling unjust on, you said this very unfair combat encounter. And again, I don't like CR. I'm not giving it the CR defense, but that is still what we are going.
Whipping out the stick. He's getting you.
Obliviate, stop it. Okay.
It's still what we were getting back to.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I just left. I just responded to a comment that someone left on one of my videos today, because I released a video today called "Balancing Combat Encounters is Dumb," actually, and someone commented and said, and they said, oh well, essentially what you said. It's like, well, if it's too easy, then it's boring, and if it's too hard, then you're just being a jerk, and you're just hurting the PCs because you gave them a bad encounter. And I said, hold on, let's rethink our base assumptions. You, as the arbiter, are not giving them an encounter, right? They are choosing the encounter and walking into it. You didn't give them anything because you don't have agency. The players have agency. It's like if you sit down at a restaurant and you order food and the food comes to you, you can't complain that it's too spicy. You ordered it, right? That's how it ought to be. Instead, a lot of GMs think that the chef gets to just decide whatever they're going to serve the players and they're going to like it. Well, you're right. In that instance, now the chef has to make sure that they take into account everyone's allergies and they do X, Y, Z. But that's not the appropriate experience. The experience is not that I'm the GM and I just give you whatever I feel like. That's just railroading. The customer is supposed to have agency to choose what they want from the menu. The players are supposed to have agency to choose where they go in the world and what encounters to engage in. And if they choose something that's too hard, that's on them.
Yes, but the mechanics of 5e don't lend themselves to that.
They absolutely can.
What you are, and we have seen that they have role played 5e. They have played a very open-ended 5e game. We're playing Shadow Dark and that, but the mechanics of what we are doing does not facilitate it. Like it's not getting you there.
I think it's worse than that. It goes into the base assumptions of how to play these games, because it used to be like on the backside of the book. It's the only limitation is your imagination, right?
Right.
So that's the limitation. But then you open the book and you try to run it. You think, oh, let me pick up what an actual writer wrote for the campaign or an adventure, and you run that, and all you learn is railroading, balance encounters, like go through door number 1, 2, or 3, choose your luck, roll for luck dice if you happen to know this curious oddity or have no clue. You learn all the bad habits from those cookie cutter adventure books, because they are designed to market to as many people as possible, to satisfy as many tables as possible, which means you can never take into account what the players want to do at those individual tables. And that's what new game masters learned the first time around. At least that was my experience. I think that was the experience before people had the internet to connect with different tables and ask around how other people do it.
People have been railroading since the beginning.
I don't think it exists in a vacuum. I think that there are many parts of the system that are catering to that. Even if older editions had like sandbox rules where you had hex maps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the OSR, all of the autism surrounding like dungeon crawling is just storytelling. Like, yeah, your story is abstracted in the form of the lich that made the dungeon, but you're showing off your cool lich story. Like, you might be hiding the story behind all of these layers, but you're still telling your little story. It's still about you, GM. Like, it's these little shithead characters that are in your dungeon.
It's almost more about it's more about the dungeon than about the adventurers that explore it.
Yeah. I don't think of OSR as being very distant from story gaming, despite how I'll get
that's really interesting.
For that.
That's an interesting position. I would want to talk with you about that sometime. I've never heard someone express that.
Yeah.
I want to pick your brain. Anyway, do you want to go to the next clip? 234 to 3.
All right, 234.
We'll see if I can get through it without
freaking out. Okay, let's
from
see.
my ears.
We can do it. We can do it.
If you're reading the title and you see Act 1, you're probably thinking, but this isn't a movie or a book, and I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Today we're talking about plotting a campaign like a pro, starting with Act 1. Let's dive in. Welcome back, adventurers. So, first of all, if you're trying to run a 100% sandbox game where the story is not dictated by you and you're just more of a referee, this video is not for you. This video is specifically for those DMs out there that are trying to tell a specific story with a focus on narrative. Now, with that...
Okay, those people who are out there trying to tell a specific story with a focus on narrative are not dungeon masters. Those are called authors. There's a giant difference between the two. It's deceptive. It's muddying the, like, not deceptive in a bad way, but like it's confusing. It's deceptive to new players. They come in, they say, "Ooh, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, this is a dungeon master,"
Yeah.
and they have an idea of what that's going to be, and then it's bait and switch. Actually, I'm an author telling you a story. He doesn't do a good enough job actually saying, "Guys, by the way, I'm not playing Dungeons and Dragons. You're not playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're writing a story and using the D&D rulebook as a kind of framework to help us write our story. This is a completely different hobby. Don't tell your friends that you're running Dungeons and Dragons because that would be lying to them. And we want to make sure we don't create confusion in the hobby," right? He doesn't do that. He's like, "Oh yeah, those DMs that want to tell a story. There's no such thing as a DM who's telling a story. Those are totally opposite things."
By that same notion, I would say that, you know, any game being played by anybody is no longer the official game. You know, like the moment you look at that book, it is not D&D. Like what you are playing is not D&D. It is not. There is no such thing as the platonic form of D&D.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like the ideal D&D experience is like as soon as it hits the players at your table, it becomes its own thing. Is that what you mean?
Right. Exactly.
If you want to talk about
a cop-out?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
If you want to talk about the hobby, people have been doing this since the beginning, been railroading everything. Lots of people do that. I hate it, and it's cringe, but it's the thing people do. Now, if you want to talk about role-playing, no, it's absolutely not role-playing. And I think it's...
I think you can role-play within it, but you're basically waiting until it's your turn to read the lines of the script. Kind of because you can't deviate, right? Like you can't actually change your approach since you need to go to the next dungeon and solve the next mystery.
Maybe technically, but if it's just little moments of roleplay here and there and you can't actually affect anything, might as well be no role-playing at all. I don't consider it role-playing.
Role-playing necessitates agency. You cannot split the two apart. If you do not have the freedom to roleplay your character, you cannot roleplay your character. You must have the freedom to do so.
You're acting in that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're following a script. Role-playing is not acting.
What my main thing that I get from here is he's like, "Oh, if it's not a sandbox, this isn't for you." In this, we want to have like a more focused narrative, not these scattered ideas. We want it to make sense. And I'm thinking, have you considered that the players would have their own goals and do things?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's my main thing. It's like, oh, if we don't do all this prep and stuff for them and hit these story beats, then they're just not going to know what to do. Dude, let go. Let the players do something. They will surprise you.
This we have this question here in chat that they want you to address, Arch. They want to know like what you think about the platonic ideal of a tabletop role-playing game.
Ooh, perfect. Okay, well, here we go.
I mean, we described what the way Dom described it, right? Of like, oh, the platonic ideal of how it's supposed to be run. But when it hits the players, it's no longer the case.
Yes, I am an old school thinker. I'm not nearly as intelligent or well learned as Alexander McCrease, but I am of the same realm of the school of thought, same school of thought. I believe in, as I was talking with Bacon, archetypes. I believe in, the 4 pillars. I believe in a well-ordered world that God made that's very structured and whatnot. And so because of that, I believe in platonic ideals. I believe that there is some kind of, not like a plane of thought, like as a literal thing, but the logos. Everything is ordered by thought and by concept. There is a concept behind every single thing. That Platonic ideal is what I call the essence of the thing. I got that term again from Alexander Mythras. He says the essence of the thing is its Platonic form. I think the essence of what we call RPGs, the Platonic form of RPGs, is the arch game. That's literally what I'm trying to achieve. I am trying to find the essence, the Platonic form of everything that these so-called role-playing games have to offer, and I'm trying to bring out its full potential, right? And build a world with it that what I call the fulfillment of fantasy. I'm also trying to make the fulfillment of these games of imagination. I'm trying to complete the work and bring it all out of the darkness and complete the puzzle piece. That's what I've been trying to do this whole time.
All right, so it's really more.
Has it occurred to you that the Platonic ideal cannot be made material?
What do you mean by that?
Perfect. I'm a human. I won't ever be able to truly do it, but I want to get as close as I can in my life.
What if that, or I should say that, so you want to achieve the essence of RPG as a concept. You want to grasp at the essence of the closest that you possibly can to grasp at the essence of RPG.
I don't call it RPG. I call it arch game. But yes, I am.
But is the arch game the essence? Are RPGs the diminutive form of the arch game? Like it's RPGs, and then on a higher level, it is the arch game.
I understand. Two answers to that question. One, I don't believe RPGs exist, except maybe something like Pendragon, where the role-playing mechanics are actually tied into the game itself, right? Like a racing game, you have to race in order to play the game. If you're not racing, you're not playing the game, right? Shooting game, you have to shoot in order to play the game. They're intertwined, right? If you look at any so-called role-playing game, like D&D, you do not have to roleplay to play the game. You can play the game for 4 hours and never roleplay once. That means the game is not a role-playing game. Role-playing must be an integral part of the game in order for it to be called a role-playing game. So I haven't actually seen any role-playing games. I was told that Pendragon has some kind of like role-play features and traits that you have to use. So maybe Pendragon is like a hybrid or something, but I've never even heard of a true role-playing game.
Chaos Theme is full of them.
Yeah, okay. So maybe they're hybrids. Maybe they're full role-playing games.
So what about the Burning Wheel, which very much features the use of all of these different traits for your character that will inform how well you can roll against something, that encourages players to lean into their character traits to work through their whatever they're confronting, whether it is haggling for an item with their money skill, or fighting with the sword, and all of that.
I think you can see dozens and dozens, hundreds of different so-called RPGs. I just call them imagination games. You can see tons of these games that attempt to fulfill one of the 4 quadrants of the arch game more than another. I don't think I've seen any that try to do all 4, but you'll have one that says, let's do the game part, the mechanics, the crunch, the win, etc. Games like Pathfinder.
But
let's figure that out real fast.
Well, give me a second. Give me a second.
Yeah, let's finish.
Did you play Burning Wheel, or like you've seen it once and thought, no, that's not good enough?
I watched a couple of reviews. I heard, I don't know if it was the creator or someone else talking about it, giving details. I have a general understanding that it's very complex, and that he attempts to get the role play, but he sacrifices the smoothness of the opposite quadrant, which is the game quadrant.
Because I think at this point it really helps for us to understand what role-playing games you did play, so we have a baseline of where you're approaching this from. Because
again, role-playing games don't exist. Right.
I mean, I think it's a big marketing term because it sells the most amounts of products to like give people whatever they imagine a role-playing game is, right? Like, oh, it's a role-playing game. No, it's just an adventure game, but you might role-play sometimes.
So role-playing games don't exist. What would D&D, Pendragon, what would those be considered?
So Pendragon might be a hybrid. D&D 5e has almost no rules for role-playing. The only one they have is like inspiration. But what I would... an adventure game and a role-playing game, right? I think D&D is just an adventure game.
But role-playing games don't exist.
Not as far as I know. I have not seen evidence of it. And I've been asking. Someone prove me wrong. Someone show me.
Just to be absolutely clear here, you mean they don't exist because the rules don't enforce roleplay through the mechanics, but 5e does it through inspiration, because inspiration gets rewarded with good roleplay, right? Is that what you mean?
Well, so 5e has the most bare bones token nod to roleplay. That doesn't make it a role-playing game. Right? You can put a recipe in the back of your D&D 5e book. It doesn't make it a cookbook, right? Just because you put one little recipe in there.
But is it a yes or a no? Like, did I get you right or not? Did I misunderstand you?
Okay. To answer the question, man, I got distracted. I'm thinking about both of your answers. What was your question again?
If so, it's not a role-playing game, but it does have the small element. So it's only a role-playing game if the mechanics reinforce roleplay happening.
Right. So it's not reinforce and it's not reward. Those are nice. That is a pro role-playing game. It is a roleplay encouraging game. But I think a true role-playing game would have to make roleplay itself the necessary, primary, maybe even exclusive method by which the game itself is played. So the method by which you interact with the mechanics.
So how?
And so you win or lose based on how well you play.
If we can, let's go back to my map. So now that we've established what the hypothetical role-playing game that doesn't exist, the Arch game role-playing games?
No.
If the Arch game is the ideal, right?
It is not a role-playing game. No.
Okay. So
I think
is it tangentially related to being a role-playing game?
Yes, it has roleplay in it. Roleplay is one of the 4 quadrants. But it's not just a role-playing game.
We have the platonic ideal at the top. The platonic, and so we have the peak. The peak of the mountain is the Arch game, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So descending from that peak is one of them is role-playing game. Right? Is the hypothetical role-playing game that doesn't exist.
Well,
right?
When you say peak, that assumes that there is some lineage. I don't think there's so much of a lineage. I think it more like planets in space, and there's one planet in the center. There's not a direct lineage.
Because my
assumption
is
we'll get rid of the tree analogy. What about solar system? Does that work better?
Yeah, that's fine.
So we have the core planet. We have the sun. All right. We have the sun that is the Arch game, and revolving around it are 4 other planets. Right.
Okay, we'll go with that, sure.
Are one of those planets the role-playing game that doesn't exist, the hypothetical?
Okay, I'll explain it like this. We'll say around this sun are 4 quadrants of space, and each planet is a role-playing game. So there's this one, not role-playing game, each planet is a game, okay? Each planet is a game. And so this one planet can be in the first quadrant of the solar system. That's all about exploration games and fantasy life simulator and, all that, right? You have another planet that's more in the, the adventure, crunchy part of the solar system, that quarter of the solar system. And that's your Draw Steel, Pathfinder 2, 4E. Then you have another game that is in the storytelling, hang out with your friends. That's the third quadrant. And then you have another game, several, that are in the more, role play first, role play focused thing. But none of any of the planets in any of these 4 quadrants have truly reached the very edge of that 4th quadrant and become a full role-playing game. They're all close to the other quadrants.
So
they've never gone fully.
It's an X and Y chart. X and Y chart where at the center is the Arch game.
Yes, and no one has ever actually approached.
There's a game that will fall somewhere on this chart, but never in the center.
So the combination of ingredients has always been out of whack of what you think is the best possible version of the hobby to experience, which is what you try to achieve.
However, that thing that it is, the thing that would begin to put it on the map doesn't exist yet. Right? Like we haven't. So the Arch game is something, but the thing that the Arch game will be eventually, right? The closest thing, the hypothetical closest thing, that thing does not exist yet, right? And it never has existed. Right.
Yeah, as far as I know,
nothing even remotely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, remotely, you could say it depends on how you define remotely. Every game has been pointing to this. It's like every other imagination game I see is like a little prophecy. It's a little puzzle piece where it says, "Hey, I'm part of the Arch game. I'm pointing to the Arch game. I am birthed of the Arch game. I'm a sliver of it." Every other thing is pointing to the Arch game, but none of them fully achieve it. None of them are a perfect copy.
Well, I think this might be. So we are at the end of 2 hours here, by the way. So if we want to continue, if you want, I can extend you another 10 minutes so we can get to a satisfying resolution. It might not be possible, but is that okay?
I do have a burning question that I want to ask.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And I kind of referenced it a bit at the beginning. What is the goal?
The Arch game?
Yes. What is the peak? What happens when I land on the sun when I have reached the top of the mountain?
Great question. The goal of playing the Arch game is to achieve the Arch dream. The experience of achieving the Arch dream is the fullness of all 4 of those quadrants, all like in their fullness, compressed all at once. You have the absolute full verisimilitude exploration of a real persistent world that feels as real as our own as far as possible, sitting at a table. You have the ultimate, gameplay, which is as thrilling and zone inducing, flow state inducing as possible. You have the ultimate, drama. If I say emotional bleed, then Bacon's going to come to my house and cook me. So the ultimate,
Good.
So
I'm glad you had that conversation with Bacon.
I have heard these
empathy, etc. And then the ultimate roleplay as far as possible, where you're actually a full agency, full freedom, role filling, actually role playing the character from inside their head, completely mentally immersed as well as, in words and whatnot. Once you achieve all of those, then the universe collapses and then you're able to enter the sun.
So you want, just so I understand, the goal is to have a shamanic ecstatic experience, wherein the rest of the reality, as far as the human brain can take it, does not exist for the time that you are experiencing the Arch dream.
Yes, it's supposed to be a dreamlike state. Again, as far as we can, it's supposed to be a dreamlike state.
And
which again, it's not going to be a literal dream. It's going to be a daydream, but it's going to be as close as we can, and it's going to be an awesome dream. The content of the dream is going to be fantastic because of the game, because of the drama, the emotional investment, etc.
So I understand. How do you, and this is a question that I haven't asked yet, what is your inspiration and how do you view your role in this endeavor?
God is very generous. And when I say this, I don't want to say, I don't want to say this as a means to lend authority to what I'm making. It's not at all. But it's going to sound like I'm busting when I'm like, I've been inspired by God to make this, right? That sounds like it's, I'm giving it authority and saying I'm inspired. That's not really what I mean. I mean, I've been inspired by God to make this thing where he has given me this stuff and it seems so true and so right. And I see that it lines up with reality. I think the best designer in the world is God. And if I can make my game, my system, my Arch game, mimic real life, then I'm mimicking the best designed thing in the world. That's why I harp on that. That's why I compare it to the real life so much.
So
because
that's the part of drawing from real life, like art. Life inspires art, right?
Yes.
To draw from real life as much as possible, to put it into whatever you're creating, whether it's a canvas or a video game or a movie or a novella. In this case, like this Arch game. Like, it's hard for me to accept in the first place that it needs its entire separate definition from anything else we understand. That one is a tough pill to swallow. But one thing that's like a small hick in my brain as I try to imagine what you are envisioning here, I can understand roleplay. I understand the social play of like being together with friends, experiencing it. I can even see the exploration of a whole different world, and that is certainly cool and awesome. But the gameplay part, I can't see you being the one doing this for the simple reason that I've known game developers that do their jobs for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that are still learning every year something new, yet you are trying to implement this incredibly complex project without veteran game developers at your back to fill the gameplay part of this role-playing game experience of this Arch dream, which I think is either, and it might be tough, I'm not sure how else to say it, hubris or ignorance. And I'm not sure where to go.
I know that Arch has been looking for people, right? You don't want to be. You don't want to.
Yeah, you're looking for help. You're looking for help, right? On that.
Yes, in the same way that
something
I
do. something I want to kind of pivot off of that is I think it's also very important is that I think you may be very this whole pursuit may be very embedded in your spiritual perception, which is good.
Absolutely.
Like I've been
Absolutely.
watching. We've been talking a lot in the Discord about your approach, and I've been yearning to ask you that question about your
inspiration. It is very spiritual. I don't bring it up and talk about it on my channel and whatnot.
But it is important. It is important to the passion.
Yes, it is absolutely essential. I didn't have any creativity, didn't have any ideas, nothing. I just played video games, wasted my life, did nothing until I had a point where I really gave my life to God. It's like, I've been a fake Christian this whole time. I'm going to be a real Christian. And I went through this experience, and then immediately I got Absalon, and I've been writing. I wrote 5 million words in 4 years from that time to now, and it has not slowed down. It's about 64,000 words every 2 weeks. Just from that time, I just started getting ideas that I'd never gotten before. And I just had this understanding of game design and the pillars in the world. I was like, wait a minute, I'm seeing the Matrix. What in the world? And I just writing stuff down and endlessly, it's like I could see the code of everything. And it hasn't stopped. And it's just, I feel overwhelmed with just what I've been given. And I feel absolutely driven to share it.
That's great.
I think it's great that you are. I think it's great that you are inspired and that you're driven. And I think those are both incredible qualities that we should look for. Like when they strike us, when inspiration strikes, write it down. Like act on it. Don't wait. Don't what's the word?
Absolutely.
Don't ruminate. Oh, is it good? Is it bad? If it feels good and you think it's good. I mean, you can like ask your closest friends. Like, don't be a fool. Just it's the first thought I had. Let's go with it. But also there is a level of going with your gut, going with your instinct. No, let's give this an honest try, right? Let's pursue it and see where it takes you.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. I'm trying to pull up a calculator. 1460. 1 second. 5 million. No, get out of here. 5 million divided by 1460. That is 3,424 words a day on average for 4 years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I can't stop. My family keeps telling me, dude, just stop, slow down, don't write inspirations. You have other things to do. I'm like, I cannot stop. It's being downloaded. I cannot. I just see it everywhere. I get ideas.
I like that.
Right, to the point of that which I brought up like an hour ago, something. The fine line between obsession and identity. I think it's okay to get obsessive over a project, but when it becomes your identity, if it gets drawn into question and pulled apart, then you lose your entire identity. And that's the part that I'm afraid of happening to you, that I don't wish to see, because as a creative myself, I totally see this as and as somebody who can definitely see like struggling with. All right, the order of the webcams out of. Give me a second. We're just gonna keep on going for now. Pathfinder had to excuse himself, but we can finish this for now. Dom is not on camera. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be a bit weird, but to bring this thought to a close of obsessive and creative and identity is if that becomes your entire world and that hobby falls apart, the project falls apart, or it does not reach its end goal, right? Then you lose a part of yourself as well. So it's, for me, very important to have that delineation. Oh, the game might take 10 years, or it might never happen, or you realize some stuff is really much harder than you imagined. That it's not a personal failure of your being, but but I still have my family, I still have my children, I still have friends, I still have a job, and those other things that balance you out, so you don't get lost into a void.
Very good advice, Zonalar.
Yeah, that was something that I was ruminating on over the last few days, that I thought it's really important to get across for you specifically. Because that's that's the line of what is it? I'm not sure. Like genius and insanity, almost, right? And yes. I want you to tell me, am I right or am I wrong? Is that not the line between genius and insanity?
It is very good advice. I practice the premeditation of evils, which is a Stoic thing. I have thought about losing it all and how I would go about that, and mentally prepared myself for that. I'm in it for the long haul. I hope, Lord willing, I hope to be working on Apsildon, which is the name of the actual whole project. Yes, I hope to be working on Apsildon for 50 years. So I don't expect to reach perfection tomorrow. In the same way that I think all the different games out there are all pointing to the Arch game, I think a bunch of different humans are all different bits of that. Like, we all have different insights into the Arch game design. And so I am looking for other people to pull their info from. What I currently do is just read other people's books and watch YouTube, and I learn from them that way. Right. I have a bunch of unpaid designers working for me because I just watch their stuff and take their ideas.
Yeah, you're trying to download as much information as possible from other people's ideas, what they've created, and see how it fits into your game. I think that's all well and good so far. All right, so if people really want to support the Arch stream, there's gonna be links in the description to everybody's channel, so you can check out Elfhunter, you can check out Bleaknick. They upload their actual games of playing and sometimes talk about role-playing games, and you can also check out Architrave Gaming. If this sounds interesting to you, he's clearly looking for patrons, he's looking for designers, he's looking for playtesters, and I'm not sure, are you ready at a stage to accept playtesters to run the game and see how close they can get with the experience and give you feedback on it?
Absolutely. I've been playtesting this game for 2 or 3 years, and I have I published it on DriveThruRPG last Thanksgiving for other people to play and run. This is already the beta. The beta is published, so it's already out there. But beta 0.2 is coming, and it's a lot better.
All right. So if people want to help out Architrave Gaming, this is your call to action. Check out his channel. And if this is something that resonates with you, go ahead and support this man. It's really
I would love some support.
Yeah, yeah, we can tell. It very much feels like
obvious.
A powder keg ready to explode, and I'm just worried about which direction it's exploding. Okay, is it productive and with one clear goal, or is it just gonna blow up in everybody's face? And that's why I was very interested in having you on the talk show, and to get a bit more insight about it, of where you're coming from, and allow people at home to make their own judgment call. I'm not here trying to tell people what they should do, but to also go with their own gut, right? Just because somebody has a gut feeling doesn't mean that one was the correct choice. People can make their choice by how you present yourself, how you represent your goals, and what you're doing with and that's what I think is really good about YouTube. It adds a layer of transparency to get that buy-in from people.
Yeah, and I fully admit I'm on a journey. I'm progressing. My game last year looked totally different than it looks now. I'm still moving forward. But I have to just give a shout out. I have one patron. He's been there since the first month. Blake Russell is my one patron, and he's been there the entire time for 14 months now, 15 months, I guess. And it's dude, thank you so much. Awesome. You stuck with me. The fact that you have never pulled out and left and you're I'm going to support this guy. That means a lot to me. Thank you, Blake.
All right, let's get our guest some final words. Anything you wish to add at the very end, and then we go to Dom. And I think Elfhunter he's left us to deal with family.
He might be a ghost.
Yes.
Final words. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for engaging in the hobby sincerely and seeking to get better, seeking to actually improve and take it seriously. Because we have plenty of casuals, that's fine, you can be casual. But I appreciate people who put their hat in the ring, people who actually put in the effort, take off their shirt, come to blows, and actually do something, right? I appreciate that, manly sweat. Yeah, thank you all very much, and God bless.
Bleaknick.
Had a great time. I'm glad that I got some of the questions that I haven't heard answered yet off my chest, passionately as you delivered the answers. I had a great time.
Cool.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for watching Inside Roleplay. And next time, What's it gonna be? I think next week we are going to go for a European stream. See if we can make a more European time zone friendly show. I have the confirmation from class, but you never know when something happens and they have to bow out at the end. But it's gonna be on Saturday next time, 8 p.m. CET, like Central European time. So the middle of the day for America. If you wanna watch, check us out next week. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.